Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 22 of the F124 Driver Career Mode. Yes, just 3 rounds to go of the season and we return this weekend, hopefully, to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Of course, yeah, if you remember back last season, we had a weird glitch here. The AI got locked at like level 25 for some reason. It was rather peculiar, but we're back this weekend, hopefully going to be able to try and get a race under our belts. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Brazil, I would highly recommend going back and watching it out. We watched Max Verstappen wrap up the World Championship, despite the fact mathematically he hasn't wrapped up the World Championship yet. Charles Leclerc has been on an absolute tear recently, taking 3 Grand Prix victories in a row there, so he now still mathematically has a shot at beating Verstappen to the crown come the end of the year. Admittedly, Verstappen needs, I believe, 7 points from the last 3 weekends, and that does include a sprint next weekend out in Qatar as well there. But yeah, Charles Leclerc, he's on absolute fire at the moment. The same could be said for his teammate Yuki Tsunoda. 4 podiums in the last 5 Grand Prix. Yuki really does seem to have found his calling down at Ferrari. I'm still hoping we get the call-up ready for next season, but Ferrari might now turn around and go, actually, Yuki's doing a good enough job.
It's practice time here under the bright lights and around the iconic landmarks of this high-octane circuit. It can only be Las Vegas. Let's get this sensational show on the road.
Here we are then. I've already double-checked the AI. It is still locked in at the 110 that we would expect it to be inside this series. So hopefully we're actually going to get a Las Vegas Grand Prix under our belt this weekend. I believe we've scored points in every race we've done still in the US, and that includes both the sprint in Miami and COTA, so we've actually done really well over the course of the year to get points in as many of the team's home races as we possibly can. I'd love to try and get one more this weekend as well, and I'll be honest, Vegas, you'd like to believe, is probably the easiest of the lot to score some points from. It's one that the AI, you know, it can be a little bit less predictable around this venue, but obviously we'll kind of wait and see as to how the weekend goes on. Of course, as always as well, slightly nervous that we could have a mechanical failure. If you've been keeping up with the My Team career mode over on Map 2 and 2 gameplay, we've had 2 mechanical failures in the opening 2 Grand Prix, so clearly my bad luck continues into another Formula 1 game. It's really just trying to take it nice and easy on this lap. Now we'll use some battery as we head out onto the strip. To make our way then out of the final corner, we just got to try and make sure that we get the battery usage pretty much bang on. We're going to be very close to the score, but we're just going to get the green. I'll say we can't do anything else with the R&D come the end of the year, but there is the, you know, the slimmest of chances if we ended up back with Haas ready for next season. Obviously, we could try and pile on a load of upgrades, if of course we can make upgrades on the car. You know, obviously we'll have those rule changes again. You know, maybe this time around, you know, we'll spin a wheel like I did last season. Maybe this time again we'll end up with nothing. Or maybe, yeah, we'll end up with some parts restricted or high inflation or something crazy inside this game that'll make upgrades more difficult. At the end of Season 2, you do actually get access to more kind of almost mods, really, aren't they, to career mode. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what one we end up with. But yeah, we've still got 3 rounds to go with this campaign first. And obviously we're still trying to prove ourselves to a bigger team. Apparently the Haas is the slowest car inside F124. So yeah, we've got our work cut out here. So we make our way down the strip, 215 miles an hour. We are running a little bit of downforce actually. I'd rather have a bit of confidence through the middle sector as well. So we just nick the wall through the final corner. We are going to obliterate, though, the qualifying sim run, just like we did last year. This time, though, it's by 1.4 seconds rather than 10.
The walls are close, the speeds are high, and the location is borderline unbelievable. It is time for qualifying in Las Vegas.
As we get ready then to start our first lap here of qualifying, yeah, this might be a really difficult one for us simply because of the lack of top speed in the car. It might be one of those sessions where we might have more race pace than we do qualifying trim, as Hulkenberg only good enough for 19th at the moment, and that's simply because I haven't done my lap yet. He got the better of me last time out in Brazil. I do not want to repeat of that today if we can avoid it, but yeah, this It's one of those ones where we could make Q3, I could go out in Q1. And I know I've said that a lot this year, but I mean that at this venue more than pretty much any other, as we try and make our way through the first sector. It was only when I was editing back one of the videos here, I did realise you get the face now on the sphere, so we'll give him a little smile, as he was smiling down on our Haas car as well there. It is really, really cool. You know, absolutely ridiculous. Nowhere else in the world should that sphere exist but Las Vegas. I mean, yeah, it basically is just a case of trying to use all of our battery down the strip to give ourselves any kind of semblance of top speed around this venue. We'll try and keep about 10% worth of charge ready for the final corner there, as you can already see losing speed down in towards that final corner. You brake from so fast, though, at the 100-meter board there. 2 more corners to go. We've navigated that pretty nicely. Drain the battery now back up towards the line. It's a 32.5 by Logan Sargent. How close are we going to be to that? We are going to do a 31.6. Okay, we've got pace, which is good. Oh yeah, very, very surprised that we made it out of Q1 with as few issues as we did. Charles Leclerc in that Ferrari once again looking very, very formidable here. Daniel Ricciardo ended up last place though, so Happy Hulkenberg was able to get the jump on at least one person. Magnus and Zhou Guanyu, I don't believe they've ever made a Q2 so far in this campaign, as Logan Sargent joins them once again. But yeah, looks like we're gonna be flying the American flag once more. Well, I kind of hit my markers everywhere I wanted to on that first lap. We actually had a braking system fault, which slowed us up getting out for our run here in Q2. Happy they figured that out though before I came out onto the circuit, because I can't help but feel there's quite a few corners here where that kind of issue would prove rather painful if we suddenly discovered down the end of the strip that we had no brakes there. But yeah, it's going to mean it's not quite a one-shot qualifying, but we're going to be a little bit tight for time here in Q2. Our first lap though felt good, so we can just match that, I'll be quite happy. But obviously the AI just going to improve through each session. Almost into the wall on the outside there. You know you're finding the limits when the car just starts to understeer ever so slightly. 3/10 up on Esteban Ocon, so that would pretty much match the time we did in Q1. Feel like we used a bit more battery though around the lap this time round. Only 212 miles an hour that time round. Shout out to the 212. But yeah, down into the final proper corner then of the lap. Oh, way too much curb. We actually got a warning for exceeding track limits there. Didn't realise we went completely over the white line, but as we make our way then back up towards the final corner, pretty much obviously, yeah, final corner and start-finish line, it is going to be a 1:31.1. We go P2. Oh, Charles Leclerc fastest then at the end of the second session, but we split him and his main championship rival in Max Verstappen. Despite the fact we've taken 4 wins in this series, we have never had a pole position yet on this game. I would love to try and get one for Haas before we leave the team, but will tonight be that night? Well, we're going to make sure our first lap then is done with no traffic on the circuit, but we might try and be really cheeky on our last-ditch run here and try to find ourselves in a bit of a slipstream. We did that in the My Team series in Jeddah, and actually got a very nice tow off of Yuki Tsunoda, which proved quite useful come the end of qualifying in that series. But what are we going to be able to do tonight? Haas, pole position, home Grand Prix, Las Vegas. Oh, that's understeer. Trying to give yourself a lot of buzzwords to pep myself up. But yeah, need to concentrate on where I'm going. Oh, tuck the inside curb there on the inside. Of course the inside curb's on the inside, Matt, but as we make our way then back out onto the strip, want to try and save a little bit of battery as we get closer to the DRS zone. Might as well try and get as close to VMAX as we possibly can. There we go, 250 miles an hour. We just touched again that time round, so it'll give you that little bit of extra speed down in towards the final couple of corners there. That was really nice over the curb. The car really does flatten out beautifully on the exit as we are millimeters away from the wall on the outside. Run back up towards the line. Are we going to dip into the 1:30s? Yes, we are. A 30.8. We are still in that fight. Less than 2/10 from Charles Leclerc. Well, the AI have caught me out a little bit in how early they've gone out ready for their final runs here in Q3, but at least we'll know what time Charles Leclerc is able to set here through the final corner. The lap really does start incredibly early around this circuit, although getting a good run to the start-finish line isn't the most pivotal part of this lap. We need to nail it, though. Sweat mode, I think, is going to have to be engaged. Could we be on Verstappen, a historic first ever pole of F124. We need 0.2 of a second at the moment, but that might end up being more than we were anticipating there. Make sure we don't get the understeer. We were a little bit hesitant that time round though, off of the first couple of corners. We'll start seeing all the other times showing up, but will we do enough? Tap those curbs. You've got to be prepared to get the car wedged over the curbing through some of these corners. There's Leclerc, the 130.2. That is a phenomenally quick lap time. So we really try to attack the curbs past the sphere. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there as we try to wedge it over, but we find the grip on the exit. Able to just carry a little bit more speed now. It's about trying to utilise the battery effectively as possible. Oh, damn it. Just nudged the wall on the exit there. That's going to cost us speed right as we make our way down this straight. But again, once we get back up into 8th gear, we will drain that battery this time around. We're 4/10 up at the moment. But is that going to be enough to try and put ourselves on pole position? We didn't quite react very well to the to the DRS even. And now we've got to save some battery down towards the final couple of corners of the lap. We're getting a bit too ragged. We're getting just a bit too ragged there. Drop the throttle out of the final corner. We are going to improve. It is not going to be by enough though. And as the time bleeds away through lack of battery management, it is going to be a 130.6. We end up P4. Well, shades of Max Verstappen there in Jeddah 2021 as we tried to get out onto the strip. I mean, we can't be disappointed with P4. Easily one of my best qualifying sessions of the year here late on in the campaign. But Charles Leclerc pole position. Verstappen, though, he needs to finish 7th tonight. Not really high stakes for the Dutchman. Or even 8th, I think, with fastest lap as well there. But yeah, hopefully we can try and be in the fight. I want to try and beat Yuki as well. That's the big one. But let's go out and enjoy ourselves.
Amid growing interest in the US and legions of fans added in the last couple of years, there is so much excitement for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. .8 miles and 3 straights. A good place to do some sightseeing at around 210 miles per hour. 17 corners should provide plenty of interest and lots of overtaking with 2 DRS zones. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have TSUNODA, Mr. Monaco, Perez, Albon, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Sainz, Sargent, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Gasly, Joe, Ricciardo, Norris, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay, as you know, this is the team's home race, which means it's extra important for everybody in this team. They've got friends here, they've got family here, they're all in the grandstands watching, so let's go and put on a good show for them.
But it does make me chuckle the fact, obviously, Haas have 3 home Grand Prix. Obviously, we've got Ferrari Power, so they have 2 home Grand Prix, and obviously I have Silverstone as well as my home Grand Prix. 6 races, a quarter of the season seemingly is special to the team. I think every race is special in Formula 1 with the exception of a couple. But yeah, hopefully we can try and have a clean, tidy race here today. We know how important battery management is going to be over the course of the afternoon. We know important as well tyre wear is around this circuit. You've got to manage the rears. Obviously, there's so many big traction zones around this circuit that we've got to be very, very careful. But starting P4, there is a huge opportunity, not only for us against Alonso, but us against the Mercs and us against Aston Martin in the Constructors' Championship. A big result today could go a long way towards the end of the year. It is 5 red lights here in Vegas. And it's going to be lights out and away we go. They're trying to get off to a clean, tidy start. TSUNODA immediately will go around the outside of Verstappen down at turn 1. The Dutchman opting for a less aggressive approach than he did in real life there, as we've still got the second Red Bull of Sergio Perez trying to stay up my inside there, as Verstappen almost put on a bit of a wall of death there on the outside of Yuki at the first couple of corners. Charles Leclerc, though, setting sail early on in the lead of the race. As Perez, I think, now wanted to squeeze me out. But, you know, we're not going to take that line down by the Mexican here. We've clearly got a car that is quick this weekend. And we're going to try and use a car that is quick this weekend. Two of our fellow Brits in Hamilton and Lando Norris starting at the rear of the field. So it is George Russell and I that have to fly the flag. But yeah, I mean, Leclerc already, he's doing his best Max Verstappen impression. Just checking out at the front of the field there as TSUNODA and Verstappen still battling it out just behind him. Obviously, we'll have no DRS this time round as we head out onto the strip, so the chaos won't start just yet. But I can't help but feel that Sergio Perez is still going to be very, very quick here. As you can see TSUNODA as well. That Ferrari is an absolute weapon in a straight line and already applying some pressure. As, yeah, goodbye, Sergio. I mean, we might even let George Russell by at the rate we're going there. Albon, really good start by him. All the way up into 7th. There's TSUNODA down the inside of Verstappen. They're not going to give up on it, though, very easily. Oh, almost into the inside wall. I think we just nudged it. As Verstappen will have to give up P2. It is Ferrari, Ferrari, Red Bull, Red Bull. Well, this is where the fun really begins then here on the Vegas Strip. Now going to start seeing what the DRS is like against each other and what top-end speed is going to be looking like as well. There is Albon now making a move on George Russell behind me. Verstappen and TSUNODA again side by side down in towards these final couple of corners. We're really going to try and take it easy early on there as this time around Verstappen's got the inside line. And TSUNODA thinks better of it. Will back out just a little bit earlier than his teammate would have. Nope, there he goes again. Down the inside. And TSUNODA once more. I mean, could he be a shank for that Red Bull seat in the future? Obviously, he's done a really, really good job with Ferrari. Of course, I mean, Fred Vasseur might turn around, like I said. And, you know, Yuki's been doing so well recently and kind of go, yeah, we may as well keep him. We know what he's like. Rather than taking the gamble on me. So we're going to try and get a run then on Perez. We'll follow TSUNODA to the outside of a Red Bull. What are you doing, Checo? I'm still alongside you. So, it's just very early doors. We don't want to try and force the issue too much. Right, let's go for a proper then top speed test here. I don't think we've actually got as much speed as we did last year. The downforce levels on the car, very, very different. It's 225, 227 miles an hour, 228. Make sure we spot our braking point though down in towards the final turn. Don't want to do what we did at Baku a few rounds ago there as Verstappen again to the inside of TSUNODA. This time around though we might be able to try and get a run on the Ferrari man. Still coming for that seat, Yuki, don't forget that. As he just about has got enough straight line speed there to hang on. Are we going to see him have a look to the inside of Max? Oh, you just have no confidence with him as Perez decides to crash into the back of me. TSUNODA and Verstappen again then side by side, but we've actually got Russell and Perez out of the DRS window here, so they're clearly having a bit of a squabble behind as TSUNODA locks up. Verstappen kind of has to guess where he's going to go, and they're again going to go side by side through the final corner. We're going to have to try and split them down the middle. Verstappen thinks, nah, you know what, I'm not interested in that right now.
Nice move, keep going.
I'm sure Verstappen, yeah, is just interested in making sure his World Championship is mathematically locked, signed and sealed this weekend, despite the fact Leclerc is winning. But yeah, we're not only up into the podium places, we are a bit of P2 then early on. Leclerc, though, he's probably already won. I mean, yeah, Vegas is just uncommentatable inside this game. There is battles going on every single lap. As TSUNODA gets back around my outside there, Verstappen tries it as well. But we get a little bit of oversteer on the exit of the corner to hopefully keep the Dutchman at bay. Every single lap we squabble, and every single lap Leclerc. I mean, he's pulled out nearly 2 seconds this lap. It's just ridiculous. Let's not forget, this battle with Yuki TSUNODA represents a whole lot more than just 3 extra points from this Grand Prix. This is a battle to showcase to Ferrari whether it's worth keeping their current driver, who has had a phenomenal run towards the end of the year, or whether the new upstart in the junior team is worth finally taking a punt on. It's kind of worked with Charles Leclerc. He's had some ups, he's had some downs with Ferrari, but if they could have him some better backup, then who knows what could be possible for the Maranello-based squad in the future. Around the outside of Yuki once more. So we just try and get it slowed down in towards the final couple of corners. I would be tempted to try and undercut him just slightly here and maybe come out in a bit of free air. As TSUNODA wanted to have a look to the outside down at the final corner. Now he's going to try and switch again. Make your mind up, Yuki. Well, we have taken a lot out of these tyres in the opening 10 laps of this Grand Prix. Verstappen still tucked up behind me ahead of TSUNODA, but Perez and Russell have really tripped each other up here. There goes Verstappen. Here goes Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, Yuki, look at that run to the outside of the Dutchman as well. Down in towards the final couple of turns. Are we going to see them go side by side yet again here? Not quite this time round. Yuki Tsunoda thinks better of it. But we're going to try and peel into the pit lane then, see if we can get a bit of an undercut on the pair of them here. I thought just for a split second there, Yuki might try and do the same thing. Make sure we get the car slowed down. I always think it's 37 here. I think where it's just a very, very short pit lane in Vegas, I get a little bit confused. I'm kind of hoping we don't come out in too much traffic as well. See, Hamilton and Norris have been able to make no progress from the rear of the field.
Okay, mate, that's it. Go, go, go. That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting.
We had a pit stop that didn't take a week.
Pit stops, let's go.
I cannot believe it, and even better than that, we've come out right at the front of this group, so we've only got Daniel Ricciardo that we've got to try and overtake, because all we've got yellows out. I think that's a car behind me. Hulkenberg's got a 10-second penalty, so I'm not too sure what's happened to my teammate here, as we can't really overtake Daniel Ricciardo at the moment. Come on, I'm waiting for the greens. There we go. Green flag now. Oh, there we go. It's Alex Albon. Alex Albon's engine has gone up in smoke then here in Las Vegas, so heartbreak for the Williams man, who was hoping to try and bring home a few more points to his team.
Use more of it to gain performance. Let's go.
And hopefully that's not going to be a safety car.
Retiring from the race.
Mark with plenty of information for me right now. Yeah, I'm intrigued to know what Hulkenberg's done then to pick himself up a 10-second penalty in this race. It really has not been the season to remember for him. But we've got Ricciardo immediately out of the range.
That sets us up nicely for the rest of this race.
Yeah, using battery here at Vegas is not a particularly difficult thing, as Charles Leclerc into the pit lane then. So TSUNODA will have to stay out, but Verstappen is also in. Well, Charles Leclerc is still going to be a long way out ahead of me here, but we are going to gain a few freebies. There is Verstappen as well. So we've actually not been able to get the undercut that I wanted on the Dutchman. Have had to try and fire back up the tyres and make a move, though, on Daniel Ricciardo.
Hard tyres. Car ahead, now on the hard compound.
Come on, we have got to make sure we stay in the range of Verstappen, but this might allow us both to undercut Yuki. Luckily then for us, we have stayed in the range of Verstappen here, so this is really, really useful. I'll be honest, I'm quite happy to sit behind him. I don't want to fight the Dutchman too much at this stage of the day. Obviously, if we get a slipstream pass, then we get a slipstream pass, but Yuki Tsunoda leading laps here in Vegas. Admittedly, there is a bit of an asterisk next to that, but it will count as a lap led for the Japanese driver there. Charles Leclerc, though, immediately back up into the lead of the GP. As are we going to see ourselves ahead of him? Pierre Gasly as well is another one having a good race here tonight. The Alpine car does work well on the high-speed circuits.
Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 5.0 seconds.
And TSUNODA, yeah, has been royally screwed over by having to go longer in that first stint. I accidentally put the car down in 5th gear there, but he has lost the range. Well, how many times on this game have we seen Verstappen struggle in the opening half of a race and then has had to try and chase down Charles Leclerc towards the end of an afternoon here? Are we going to see the Dutchman attempt it once more? Are we going to be able to work with him to potentially get closer to the Ferrari driver? Or do we try and fight him and keep Charles Leclerc with a bit of distance? Again, prove to Ferrari that we would be a fantastic backup driver if needed. But I think, yeah, we've got to start trying to use the slipstream, try and keep slingshotting our way past Max Verstappen, 225 miles an hour. How is the Red Bull that fast? He's got no DRS or anything. So it probably wasn't actually worth the slingshot there. Around the outside will go, though.
Maneuver, you made it look so easy.
I guess we're fighting, Max. I don't see us going a second quicker than Charles Leclerc to the end of the afternoon. But Verstappen, yeah, is getting racy. Yeah, the other thing Verstappen and I have got to be careful of is that Yuki Tsunoda doesn't get back in the range again and can rejoin this fight. I mean, yeah, Verstappen has got so much more straight line speed to me naturally. That Red Bull is an absolute rocket ship, as we'll wave goodbye once again to him down in towards the final corner. I mean, we're losing a good half a second to Charles Leclerc down that straight, but, well, 10 laps to go. That's not the way you attack those final couple of corners. No, Max! Don't leave me, come on. I need to stay in that range. Now Yuki's under 1 second to me. Damn it, man. Drain the battery. Come on, keep going, keep going. That's okay. Well, team have just given us a new target then of trying to get back past Max Verstappen before lap 22. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like, yeah, if I need to make the move, it's not going to be the most difficult thing I've ever done inside this game there, because he's trying to save just a little bit of battery. Ferrari are actually definitely quicker at the moment. So once again, then try and get a run. Use all the slipstream we can.
Hit that target. Really good job.
I mean, you watch how much the delta comes down, and you know how different the speeds are inside this game. It is quite interesting. You know, you can have 25, 30 miles an hour extra in some instances. I've said it before, I would love for there to kind of be like more realistic wings and things like that. So, you know, being able to bring like a low drag wing or something like that to the circuit, but you know, there's only so much they can implement, I guess. And now it would appear that Yuki Tsunoda has got himself in this fight, so we'll be waving goodbye to Verstappen down this straight, and we'll probably end up waving goodbye to Yuki as well there. Charles Leclerc, this has got to be the most boring race he's ever had out front in Formula 1. I'm sure he won't complain about it after that nip and tuck battle that we saw between him and the Dutchman last year. Ferrari, though, are they back? Could we be moving to Maranello at exactly the right time? Will we even get to move to Maranello? Yeah, Yuki Tsunoda seems to be a man on the move at the moment. How has he got that much speed before we even get to the DRS point? What is that? I wonder if he had DRS back where the old detection point was around this circuit. Maybe just getting a tinfoil hat on there, but yeah, if there's one driver that's going to decide whether we move to Ferrari or not, it is that man right there. Is he delivering enough? Does Fred Vasseur want to keep him on? 6 laps to go. This result could be pivotal in answering that question. I mean, Yuki Tsunoda, he just gets out to where the detection point is and just absolutely flies off. 227 miles an hour, 228 for us. They're going to try and look past Verstappen as well. Clearly he's okay losing one place. Oh, he didn't want to lose both though, as he ever so slightly understeered out into me there. The Dutchman getting a little bit anxious towards the end of this. I mean, he only needs P7. Just let Yuki and I both have a podium, man. I reckon Verstappen might have problems here, because he's immediately gone and dropped out of the 1 second zone. Did he get a little bit of front wing damage in the contact we had? I mean, he just understeered out, so maybe that has been the case there, as we need to get a good run out onto the back straight there. Keep him over that 1 second zone, which we will. And now it might be us versus Yuki in a battle to the finish here in Vegas. Our home, well, the team's home race doesn't really mean anything for Ferrari, but I'm sure they love another 1-2. With a little over 3 laps to go then, yet Verstappen is just dropping away. I'm not convinced it's damage, or if it is, it's just a very, very small amount, but I'm happy just to kind of push Yuki Tsunoda along. Look at that, I've got DRS and we're barely gaining in on him. I know we're not using the battery right now, but he's apparently also saving his. That Ferrari, it's got the 2019 engine in it, surely. That thing is an absolute missile. Well, I'm going to start dubbing Charles Leclerc the Crusher of Dreams this weekend. We thought we might bag our first pole position. Charles Leclerc absolutely destroyed all hope. I then thought maybe we can be in the fight for victory today. Charles Leclerc, lap 1, destroyed that hope. But if Fred Vasseur is watching, and if he still hasn't decided yet whether it's going to be Yuki or myself that is alongside him next campaign, well, hopefully this last lap or so is going to help him decide there. We're going to try and get the run this time around on the Ferrari, 225 miles an hour, as we look to the outside in towards the final couple of corners. Just about hold it in between the white lines there. Really try and slam the door shut in Tsunoda's face here. Charles Leclerc, 1 lap to go here of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And are we going to see once again the Monegasque driver?
Final lap.
If you include the sprint at COTA, I believe that is 5 wins in a row now. Sorry, the sprint even in Brazil. The last time he didn't win was the sprint race all the way back at COTA. Charles Leclerc has had formidable pace right towards the end of this year. But we know we need to try and charge the battery pack here against Yuki Tsunoda before we head back out onto that straight. But I'll be honest, I'm a little bit worried we're not going to have much fight in us. Is it worth letting him by before we even get out onto that straight? So we wanted to have a look down the inside in towards the chicane there. Wave to the sphere one final time here. Charles Leclerc, like I said, it's been an absolutely dominant run of form at the end of the year. If he can maintain that into next season, surely he is going to be in the fight for the World Championship here. But as we make our way then down in towards the final few corners of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, we've just got this huge straight that we have to navigate once more. I've opened up the overtake mode on the battery, and we are not going to close it once again here. Are we going to see Tsunoda still able to get the run on me? Yes, we are. I mean, that Ferrari How many times have I said it? It is an absolute missile here as you're just watching the gap come down and down and down and down and down to the inside that we will defend. Here comes TSUNODA though, to the outside. He hasn't quite got enough there. In towards the final corner, maybe used his battery just a little bit too early. He's still going to be gaining on me though, as we get back to the start-finish line. Leclerc will take the win. Fred Vasseur though, look at me, it is P2.
What a drive! What a driver! Charles Leclerc takes the victory!
And with 5 race victories now in a row, I mean, do we just give them the trophy now? It's for the others, surely, to try and stop that, because if that's how we're feeling, what must they be feeling as the competition for them? But hey, what competition is there? They're running away with this championship as we speak.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
There we go. Despite Charles Leclerc's best effort, Max Verstappen, we kind of knew it was going to happen at some point. He is now mathematically your Formula 1 world champion. Despite not finishing on the podium this weekend, Ferrari power goes burr down the back straight there. We come through for P2, though, able to split those two cars, and surely, yeah, Ferrari, you know, sign me up. Ready for next year there. We beat Yuki on the road for the first time in a long while, actually, in this series. Yeah, you know, we have got a much worse car than the Japanese driver there. Russell comes through for 5th ahead of Oscar Piastri and Sergio Perez. Decent drives by, yeah, both Sainz and Gasly there. Help them pick up some big points, and the gap to Alonso has been massively cut down. 3rd race in a row, Hamilton has been unable to score a point. So many grid penalties for him towards the end of the campaign. It has really not been his year there. Hulkenberg, a pretty lonely afternoon, able to beat out only Sargent and Stroll, who equally both had very lonely afternoons in the end, with Alex Albon, the one driver who failed to see the checkered flag. It means championship-wise, yeah, with 58 points available, Max Verstappen, 66-point lead. He is your Formula 1 world champion. We've gone from an 8-point deficit now to a 10-point lead over Fernando Alonso with that result as well there. And yeah, 1 point in it between Hamilton and George Russell. I'm really hoping towards the end of the campaign we can hold off from there. Lando Norris, despite 3 mechanical failures in the opening 3 Grand Prix, has now got the better of his teammate Oscar Piastri as well there. And yeah, I mean, the other big battle surely has got to be Leclerc versus Perez. Not really sure what Perez is going to be able to do, though, between now and the end of the campaign. 23 points the gap between us and Aston Martin, though, so it is all still to play for, but we're going to need some big results in both Qatar and Abu Dhabi. Thank you all so much for watching this video, though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns, ready for the final sprint weekend of the year from Losail.